but I always talk about the mentality of like the superstars nowadays with LeBron always backing on Twitter or Kevin Durant having like burner accounts. What do you think like the mentality of our superstars nowadays versus in the 90s and 80s, like where like the mentality is in like the toughness of the game?
Well, we also need to understand that everything has changed. Back in the '90s, you don't have the technology that you have now
Mhm.
when it comes to the media. I mean, you like you said yourself, you go on Facebook or you do this, Twitter, whatever. Back then, Michael didn't have that. Do I believe if the players back then had that, they would have been in trouble? Absolutely, right? Absolutely, would definitely been in
Yeah.
trouble because I used to go to a place, the Hyatt it's in the Plains of it was not 53, but it's around Cumberland Avenue. And I remember going there, and the Celtics had just came into town, and Robert Parrish, Larry Bird, Dennis Johnson, all those guys, Bill Walton, they all came in there after a game, and people were all over them. Nowadays, those guys don't do that. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just a different type of world now because social media has created this monster when it comes to getting people to say in trouble. And if I'm not mistaken, professional athletes get a class when they make it to the pros on how to avoid things like that.
Yep.
You can't
Yep.
hang around with this guy or that guy because you grew up with them because you can't. You just can't. Because a career could be over within seconds, whether it's true or false
Mhm.
that people say something, which a lot of times is false because they want some type of money or some type of favor or whatever. So that's what the issue comes in with that. Now, back in the '90s, you didn't have the social media. They did more things and got away with more things than they can do now.
Mhm.
Now, right
Right.
now, see, I'm a big believer that athletes are athletes, politicians, and everybody. But nowadays they have this platform that they think they have to give their opinion. Well, they're entitled to it. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of people follow their opinion, and when you don't know what you're talking about, and that's basically what this is about.
Mhm.
A lot of these, like LeBron, will start talking about politics, but you don't know about politics. You know what I mean? It's the same thing if Trump was in office. He's talking about basketball. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, but you do have this platform that nowadays people follow. Oh, LeBron said this. Well, it's not true, but they follow because LeBron said it. The best
Right.
quote that I ever heard was from a guy named Charles Barkley. And he always said this. He said, "I'm not here to race your parents. I'm not. No, that's not what he said. I'm not. You shouldn't look up to me. You should look up to your parents. I'm not your idol. Your parents are your idol."
Mhm.
He's
Right.
and people nowadays probably criticize him for that, but he's right. People they want their kids to look up to athletes, and it's like, well, why don't you look up to a doctor or your lawyer? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not that there's not bad doctors or whatever, but again, you should look up to your parents because they're the ones that are going to raise you. But no, a lot of this, social media does is these parents, when you go to AAU, they want their kids to, to make it to the NBA, for example. And it's like, you're not going to make it. The percentage is so small. God bless you if you do make it. But if you get a 4-year scholarship, get that education. And then if you want to pursue sports, you can pursue sports, not obviously playing on the court, but doing something else. There's a lot of avenues. But again, it's the times have changed. And social media has a lot to do with it. Whether it's good or bad, I think it's good in certain things. I think it's bad in certain things because it can destroy a person or it can make a person great. So it goes either way, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And do you think social media has led to more super teams being created because players have been able to communicate faster with each other and be able to privately talk without being having seen in public, being able to coordinate like LeBron did with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh when he first went to Miami,
Right.
or Kevin Durant with Kyrie Irving. You see them in that All-Star game. After the game, they're talking, and Kyrie's saying like, "Hey, there's two spots," and then a season later, Kevin Durant leaves the Golden State Warriors, and they're both in Brooklyn. Do you think that it has made it easier for players to group up like that?
Well, I think that's a good. I think that's good. I mean, obviously, if you're a team owner, you say, "Yeah, let's get this player." If you're friends with him, absolutely, because you want to win that championship. And you know what? You might be okay. Look at the Bucks. They won the championship last year. they might even make the playoffs. You never know because
Mhm.
so many things happen.
Yep.
You know, Kyrie, and of course now he's not playing because of COVID or whatever. And they're not going to win a championship. New Jersey, you guys, they're actually Brooklyn,
Mhm.
but it's just be called New Jersey Nets. They're Brooklyn Nets. But that being said, they're not going to win. Everybody last year, nobody had any idea Milwaukee was going to win. So if you can get all those players together, that's going to make you a better team and bring that championship. Guess what? One championship is better than none.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you, there's not going to be any of these teams in the NBA or NFL or even in baseball, as you just saw, that are going to be able to repeat. It is very hard to repeat at any of these levels because, again, you recruit guys that, hey, I can get this guy over to play. Why not? They should. You get a
Right.
chance in the ring,
Well, you talk about business too,
That's
You
just
talk
it.
about how it's a business. You see a lot of these teams, they'll form a team, they'll win the championship, and they're usually on like a 1-year deal, or they have, a 1-year deal, or they can opt out of it. So you see a lot of these teams, even after they win, that they rebuild. Sometimes you see teams that stick together because they're on long contracts, but the role players and the guys that they get are really the ones that are going to help you win that championship. And I do agree with you. I think if Brooklyn doesn't, I'm sorry, not Brooklyn. If the Bucks can stay healthy, I think they got some good pieces. But like you said, it's very hard to repeat at every level. Um, but I mean, like I have one question for you, Dad. It's like,
Yeah.
who's your early prediction to win right now?
Right now,
Right now, it's early, but I want to know.
Golden State.
I said that.
I just, the way they're playing, and actually even the Phoenix Suns in the beautiful state of Arizona, which I'm not a fan, are playing really well right now. I think
Yeah.
disappointments. You got Portland. I mean, all these teams. Milwaukee's definitely a disappointment in my opinion.
Yep.
The Celtics. I think they're 500 now. The Lakers. I never really thought the Lakers because I believe age. You're not Tom Brady. It's a different type of sport. That
Mhm.
can
Yeah,
be
you're right.
hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
You need your legs a little bit more. Tom can, that's my favorite football player of all times. But that being said, it's just hard. It's just really hard. Do I think LeBron just come back today from being out for 10 games? I think there were 4-6 when he was out.
Yep.
I don't think
Yeah.
they win because no matter how good a shape you are, Mother Nature. I'm sorry, you're old, and this is a different sport than even like same thing with baseball. You're not quick enough to hit. Football is different. Tom Brady is a special person, but he's also a quarterback. You know,
Also trained his body, and he
right?
has literally worked his whole life around the sport. He has changed his diet as he's grown older,
Yeah.
and he's changed how he plays too. He doesn't escape the pocket. He hasn't run out of the pocket nearly as much as he did when he first started years ago. And we have LeBron, who's now been out, twice in the first 5 weeks of the season.
Mhm.
He's still trying to do twisty dunks, trying to blow past people, and his body is not going to be able to maintain that throughout the season now. He needs to learn to, instead of dunking the ball when he's got a way open, just lay it up. Save your body for the playoffs. Don't throw it away on a wide open dunk that you just are going to be flashy.
He's got to adapt to the game. This is really what it is that as you get older, your athleticism goes down, your conditioning goes down, and whatever the case may be. But overall, your IQ gets better. I mean, look at Chris Paul. That's a great example. Chris Paul is old. I mean, but he's still one of the best point guards. He's averaging the most steals in the NBA right now. And he's got a really good max contract after they made it to the finals. So as you get older, your IQ gets better, but the athleticism goes down, the conditioning goes down. You just become a smarter player. So I agree with you, OB. I think that LeBron definitely needs to start adapting his game, especially if he's going to be taking some time off once in a while, especially and he's got that really old team. I mean, some of those guys are going to be taking time off as well. So whatever they need to do, but I agree with you. He needs to save his body for the playoffs because they didn't even make the playoffs last year. So they need to step it up. So
They made the playoffs last year. Sure they did.
who, the Lakers?
Phoenix.
Yeah, they lost to Phoenix in the first round.
See, I don't even remember because
That's how that
LeBron.
was.
That was the first time LeBron's lost in the first round, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you might
Yeah,
be right
so
about that.
that's probably why I forgot about it. So, oh well.
The thing with LeBron is that He's got 37-year-old legs, and older than that, he's been playing basketball since he was probably 7 or 8.
Third most miles in the NBA.
Exactly. So now you're going up against 19-year-olds who are just as big and as athletic as you, or more athletic now because they're younger.
Mhm.
Again, back to the Lakers. I don't think they're going to win. I know they surrounded themselves with a bunch of senior citizens when it comes to basketball. I mean, by basketball years. I mean,
Yeah.
they get what's his name back? Superman. What's his name?
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
I mean,
And he's been terrible since
I-
they picked him up.
I can't-
well, he's old.
They're
Okay.
all old.
Well,
They're-
what I'm
they're gonna be in
saying. Senior
wheelchairs next
citizen.
week.
They're senior citizen.
I keep telling Mike it's an infirmary waiting to happen. Thank you for watching this episode of Coach Mike and OB. Full episodes of this podcast will be released every Monday, and segments such as this will be released every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.